everybody who is working in this space of mitigating climate change impact, apply for these awards, and we would be more than happy to facilitate any award applications in the coming days. So, Earthcare Award started in 2008, entering its 12th edition this year, has been one of the most coveted awards in Indian climate space. As I said, 2008, it was started jointly by JSW and Times of India. This platform is to recognize the efforts by individuals, organizations, institutions who are trying to combat the adversities of climate change. The award aims to recognize and support climate change adaptation as well. And, in the 12th edition, we expect to recognize, highlight impactful and scalable, initiatives that have been taken in this space. As you can see, Earthcare Award entering its 12th edition has already received 2,300 applications, 11 editions, having 87 winners. The beauty of this award is there is not a single winner. There can be multiple winners in one single category. The jury panel, I'll take you through, and before that, the different categories of the award. And in Bhubaneswar, we are focusing on the community-based climate action. As a lot of us know, there's a lot of initiatives taken by individuals and institutions in Odisha, in conservation of mangroves, wildlife, olive turtles, and a lot of water conservation, etc. So we are expecting to get a lot more applications from in this category, particularly in the community-based climate action. There are other categories like the urban center climate action, emerging businesses in climate, green business titans. This is particularly for mostly big business initiatives for climate. Women leaders in climate change. Women play a key role in combating climate change. And the last one, but the most recent one added, is the Young Climate Champion Program, which is basically to highlight the efforts of the youth, be it students, startups, young enterprises, who are trying to innovate in this space of solving climate problems. So as I said, this particular event we are organizing in Bhubaneswar. Of course, everybody is open to apply for other categories wherever they suitably fit in. But Odisha being having seen it so much of climate-related disasters, there's a lot of community-based initiatives that have been taken in Odisha. Some are very well known, some are still working in the background. Very few people know about them. We keep reading sometimes about those initiatives which are very inspiring. And we want to identify and reach out to those individuals and institutions who are the unsung heroes in combating the climate change impact. So this particular thematic area, there is a indicative list, but of course doesn't limit to this, biodiversity conservation, green energy, sustainable waste management, agriculture practices, sustainable agriculture practices, and natural resource management. This is the, we're really blessed to have this eminent panel of jury led by Dr. Masalkar, our partner, CEW's founder, Arnava Ghosh, Rajat Gupta, Sloka, and Priya, who comes from the space of investment. These are our knowledge partners, of course, TTC being the leading partner, and we have the outreach partners like India Climate Collaborative, CEW, Energy Swaraj Foundation, and Earth Day. These are some of our past winners. As we proceed with this program, we will have one of our past winners, Gram Vikas, share their experience as well. These are some of our social media handles where you can get more information about the award and apply. As mentioned, that right now 30th November 2024 is the last date for application for this particular edition. So the Young Climate Champion program, which was introduced early, has recognized some of these, very inspiring young climate champions like Nidhi Pant, who after she got the Women-led Climate Action Initiative, award, she also won the prestigious Earthshot prize in 2023. And Nikki Jha, who is again working on solution for keeping fruits and vegetable, fresh using AI. So, so Young Climate Champion program, which is focusing on particularly the students and youth, be it ideators, innovators, or startups. With this program, we aim to reach out to colleges, institutions, academic institutions across 10 Indian states, where we want to encourage and identify ideas and youth with ideas who are going to be recognized as youth champions for climate action. So I would request all of you to also share this with anybody, any student or youth or any institution that you think are interested or working in the space of climate action. This particular initiative has been led by our partner Earth Day. And we expect ideas to come from different categories that we have listed here, whether it is lifestyle for environment, as we know, every single change, a simple change in our lifestyle also contributes to the fight against climate change. Like for example, using small plastic water bottles. I was in a wedding, ceremony, 11-day ceremony of somebody a couple of days back, and the number of plastic bottles, 200 ml plastic bottles I saw dumped on the side because people are just drinking and throwing the bottles, despite the ban, was really, really concerning. And we still see the small changes that we all talk about, but very difficult for us to adopt it in our day-to-day life. So circular economy in waste management that everybody talks about, waste is becoming a bigger and bigger problem as urbanization grows. And there has to be an effort to use waste as wealth. So I personally know a lot of institutions who are working on waste to wealth, circular economy. So we'll encourage students and startups to also work on these ideas and apply for the award. Climate action and resilience, biodiversity conservation, sustainable urban development, and water conservation and management. These are some of those categories where we encourage startups and students to come up with the ideas. Of course, these ideas, as those who have a better chance to develop and get into the winning category, we as a team, we on JSW and Times of India, we would encourage and work with these individuals and institutions to ensure that they are able to develop and execute those ideas. Again, as I conclude this presentation, the nominations are open until 30th November. I encourage and request all of you to spread the word, reach out to all of those champions, individuals or institutions who are putting their efforts to ensure there is solution to the climate change, to the impacts of climate change. With few more words, I will end this presentation. As we all of us talk about impacts of climate change, till few years back we were talking about what. So this space was basically about highlighting the problems. But as we reach 2024, over the years that we have also seen as a country, as a globe, we have seen the impacts of pandemics like COVID-19. We see the rising temperature. City like Bhubaneswar touches 44, 45. This particular summer, that the past summer we saw Bhubaneswar consistently, going above 40 degrees for almost 15 days, right? We are in almost November, but hardly we see winter. So this is the impact that we see on a daily basis in our day-to-day life. But what has changed is our approach to fight climate change. I see a lot of opportunities, instead of talking, we have now solvers we are trying to solve with technology innovation, with innovation in, turning the opportunity, problem into opportunity. So we have a very eminent group, panel today who are going to talk about these things, solutions, particularly how we can turn this problem into a big opportunity for our country and planet. As a group, JSW, of course, is committed to having, no harm, achieve the goal of no harm by the year 2050. And as a group, JSW has been pioneering the cause of sustainability in the businesses that it works, whether it is mining, steel making. Recently, we have got into the space of electric vehicles in partnership with MG. As well as, JSW has been increasing its footprint in the renewable energy space as a group. So as a group, as a responsible business group, JSW also is trying its best to ensure that we do business without any harm to the climate. Under the CSR arm of JSW Group, JSW Foundation, we are also working on a number of initiatives to ensure that, the communities around us where we work are free from the adverse impact of climate change. Some interesting programs that we're working in Odisha are, the one program that I can talk about is the impact of human and animal conflict, that a lot of us are reading about it every day in the newspaper. Elephant and human conflict, be it death of elephants on the railway tracks or highways, or by different regions. And the similar is the impact of elephants getting into habitations. So we under the JSW Foundation are trying to implement a program in the mining belt of Odisha, where we're trying to mitigate or manage, rather not mitigate, rather manage how human and elephants can co-live without harming each other. We are working on climate resilient agriculture practices around our communities and sustainable water management. As we know, in the mining areas particularly, water scarcity grows during the summer, and we're trying to see how best we can manage the naturally available water that we have in that area. So with this, I would end this presentation, and again thanking all of you to be here today with us, and also request you to spread the word about Earth Care Awards and ensure that every deserving climate champion is aware about this word, and we get a chance to recognize their work and felicitate them through Earth Care Awards. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed very, very impactful. Thank you so much for being so vivid with the presentation. And we indeed love the terms that are coined for our climate warriors, that is climate champions, eco-guardians. We all know and we all talk about, we have deeply felt the change that is being brought about in the climate, the weather, and the conditions that Earth has been going through. Like Sir rightly said in the beginning of his address, the only thing consistent with Odisha so far has been the cyclones that we are hit by. Apart from that, everything else is a roller coaster ride. As we talk, the news of a piece of Saudi Arabian desert being hit by snowfall is also doing rounds. So as a child, I studied in school that a desert is probably the place where it is impossible to snow at. But things are changing. Everything that I read now probably seems false. And I'm sure that is the case with all of us present in the hall today. So that is what we are talking about. That is what we are talking about, to save, to fight, and bring about changes that stays longer and for the better of the humankind. With that, I'd like to request all of you and urge all of you to kindly visit our website, www.earthcareawards.com, for all of you to know more about the category so that you all can register yourselves and submit your entries. And I'd also like to request all of you to please follow us on our handle, #EarthCareAwards on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn to know more about stories of change makers, the tips and tricks, and also share your stories. Moving on to the agenda for the day, ladies and gentlemen, we have an exciting panel discussion that we all had been talking about and all had been hearing about. The discussion is on adapting for tomorrow, creating resilience through climate smart development. Let me introduce our moderator for today. May I call upon stage Mr. Ajay Pandey, founder director of Think Through Consulting Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him on the stage with a huge round of applause. As a sustainable development professional, Ajay has built expertise in the domains of natural resource management, climate change mitigation and adaptation, sustainable livelihoods, and social entrepreneurship. Our first panelist, ladies and gentlemen, is Dr. Mrityunjay Suar, Director General, Research and Development and Innovation, KIT University, and Chairman, Bhubaneswar City Knowledge Innovation Cluster. An entrepreneurial professor with PhD in molecular microbiology from University of Delhi. Taking his modesty into consideration, we all know how big a name he is in the Bhubaneswar City Knowledge Innovation Cluster. Thanking sir for his kind presence today at this event. May I now invite Mr. Satyabrata Samal, Climate Man of Odisha and founder and director, Sattvic Soul Foundation. He's a passionate advocate for youth leadership, dedicated to empowering the next generation. He's on a mission to inspire, guide, and cultivate leadership skills amongst young minds. His commitment to fostering positive change makes him a beacon for aspiring environmental advocates in the youth mentorship process. Ladies and gentlemen, please give this icon a huge round of applause. Moving on, it's time that I invite and introduce Dr. Abha Mishra, Head of Office, UNDP Odisha, a development anthropologist by education. She has a professional career of over 30 years. She supports UNDP Odisha projects on SDG acceleration, natural, health, tribal, inclusive growth, and resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her a huge round of applause as she joins us as a panelist. Next, it is an absolute pleasure to invite and welcome Dr. Ambika Prasad Nanda, Head CSR Odisha Tata Steel. He's a postgraduate in Analytical and Applied Economics and has done his doctoral studies from JNU, New Delhi. He has worked with many international NGOs on the issues of education, land rights, sustainable livelihoods, climate change, and disaster management. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him with a huge round of applause again. And now it's time to invite our last panelist for the day, Ms. Swapna Sarangi, Head Gender Diversity and Integration, Foundation for Ecological Security, FES. She is a postgraduate in social work from the Tata Institute of Social Services. At FES, she works on better governance and management of commons like forests, water, land, and other life forms for the past 25 years. With this brief round of introductions, let's begin this thought-provoking discussion. And once again, we welcome Ms. Swapna on the stage as a panelist. Ladies and gentlemen, please give all our panelists and our moderator a huge round of applause. And now it's over to you, Mr. Ajay, to take the session forward. Thank you. Check.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you and very good morning, all of you. I did not hear good morning from you, although there was some. Okay, that is again doesn't look like good morning of the morning. Good morning. Thank you. So it gives me great pleasure being here in Odisha, in Bhubaneswar. Bhubaneswar, or rather Odisha, has been the place where I started my career, started my journey. working with Foundation for Ecological Security. Sapna is here. So we were in the same team. We started, I mean, of course, she started before me, but I joined and we worked together. So, and I spent around 4.5 years in Odisha, working in different places. I have had the opportunity to work on the skill gap assessment study for Odisha, which took me to all the 30 states, all the 30 districts. So among all other Indian states where I have exposed to, I have worked as part of my career, Odisha has been the state where I have traveled the most. So, and also, 20 years back, I learned the language. I still do. Can't speak much because I'm out of practice, but I can understand. So in case the panelists decide to, switch to Odia in between, that's all right. I can get that. Good to see this room filled with all of you. And usually what happens in a panel discussion that, we all like to speak and we speak and speak and speak. And at the end, there is no time left for question answers. I want to correct that, and this has happened with my panel discussions as well. So what I will do, and what I will request you is to write down your questions on each of the table. You might have a notepad, a pencil. Write down the questions. Maybe someone from the volunteers here can collect those chits and pass it on to me, so that I will try and ask those questions on your behalf. And please write your name so that I can even call upon and ask you to ask those questions. So we may not have to wait till the end for those questions to be asked. Uh, this Earthcare Award, which was started in 2008 by JSW Times of India, and we are in the 12th edition, and Prashant gave a good round of introduction, spoke about the award in detail. As Think Through Consulting, we are the knowledge partners, and we have been part of this award since last year, which is 11th year, and now in the 12th year. And in these 2 years, although we knew about this award, we were aware about how the entire process is kind of constituted and how it works out. But once we started working on this, we realized that, today, if you look at, there are various awards which is there out. You will be hearing about those awards, you will be kind of reading about those awards, and most of these awards have become commercial in nature. When I say commercial in nature, you can pay and get an award, and many people are doing it. And I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but the spirit of an award is not getting an award. It's getting that recognition, and it's the competition that you are doing something, there are others who are doing things, and how you actually are able to influence a jury that has been very, very, that has been constituted in a manner which brings different kind of expertise together, and just having the likes of Dr. R.M. Ashelkar in the jury makes it all the difference. Last year, we had received around 900 applications. Out of those 900 applications, the total list of awardees were around 11. And, there was an initial shortlisting, then there was a screening committee which was constituted, which screened the awards, then we shortlisted again, then we went to field, we visited each of the project sites, each of the companies, each of the businesses. The dockets were prepared, the jury interviewed and discussed with each of the potential awardees. There was scoring that was done. All of it was recorded, all of it was transparent, and then the final list of awardees was announced. And what we are doing here in Bhubaneswar is the road to the award. This is an outreach event, and when we say outreach event, we mean that we are here to at least let each one of you know about these awards. We are here to discuss issues which are relevant to our Mother Earth today, and how we can, or what we are doing, because all of the esteemed panelists who are here on the dais and also in the audience here are all practitioners, have all contributed in this particular area. So we'll hear from them. But spread the word, as Prashant said, because everyone who is doing something should actually, come out and showcase. This particular award also has international significance. There are a lot of awardees who initially won the Earthcare Award, went international and got and received some very, very prestigious international awards. They were recognized. So this recognition does matter. So I call upon all of you to please, your individual organizations as well as the organizations that you can spread the word. Please do that. This is the 5th outreach event in the series of the events that we were doing this year. We started from Indore, sorry, this is the 4th one. This is the 4th one, sorry. We started from Indore. Indore, we focused on Indore is a city that has really showcased urban resilience, urban transformation, their model of sanitation and water management. So we focused on the urban resilience to climate change and how Indore is setting an example. We then went to Hyderabad, where we had 2 panels, one focusing on community-led climate action, the other one focusing on how emerging businesses can play a big role in climate change by innovating, by research, by bringing in new type of solutions. Then we went to Bangalore, and in Bangalore we again focused on emerging businesses, we focused on innovations, we focused on technology, we focused on how innovations need to be funded. We focused on venture capital, how venture capitalists are putting in money for climate related endeavor. And now we are here in Bhubaneswar. There will be one more outreach event planned after this, either in Mumbai or in Delhi. So, and this is till the time the award is open, which is till 30th of November. You can apply for this award. So just wanted to, give the information right in the beginning. As we all know, climate change, 20 years back, we used to say climate change is somewhere there on the horizon. It is happening. No, it will happen. Something will happen. Today, we are already past that. It is a reality. Our MC just mentioned about Saudi Arabia. We heard about, 10 years back, we heard about floods in the desert. So we are looking at, bizarre phenomena all across the world. And, now we are asking questions, what we can do, what we have been doing, all of it. See, climate change is something which is it's a natural phenomena. Climate will change. If you look at the history of Earth millions of years ago, how it changed, how oceans got separated, how mountains formed, that is something which happens over a long, long, long period of time. What we have done through our action is we have really fastened the pace. So things that were supposed to happen in tens of thousands of years, we have really done it in 400 years. And that does not require any applause because, and we are proud of it, actually. If you see climate change, the development model that we have adopted, the Europe started it, and we all study the European model of development and how it used fossil fuels, how it started, industries, how it cut forest, in the colonial states wherever they colonized. That was, and they used to applaud it. And now that same Europe is preaching climate change, and then they are saying that, we should not be doing this, and we are not doing it. We'll stop buying things which is based on, deforestation. So there is a contradiction, no doubt. But this is something, this is a model that we built, we applauded for it, and now we are thinking of what is the alternative. Now the alternative is not to reverse. We cannot reverse, we cannot go back to where we were, but it is to at least put a hold somewhere, and that is the agenda of 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2 degrees Celsius, whatever we have been hearing, and you all know about all those things. The result of climate change, Odisha, as Prashant also mentioned, is a state which sees floods, which sees cyclones, which sees heat waves, which sees drought. It is almost the full package. That's a wrong term to be using, but Odisha has everything. In every single way, one can get vulnerable, and almost 28 out of 30 districts are vulnerable to climate change in Odisha. And that brings the question, what next? What is going to happen tomorrow? How we are going to adapt? Because, minimizing is fine. Wherever we can reduce, we will reduce. But now the question is not really about how we can go back. We cannot go back. We cannot turn the time. But we can adapt. And adapting is like, okay, now we understand that it is going to be 44 degrees for 1 month in a row. So how we are going to adapt to that? We know that cyclone is a reality. We know that drought is going to be a reality. We know that flood is going to happen. How do we adapt? So we innovate. We bring new things. We do new activities. We bring new crops. We research. We develop. So we adapt. And also we build resilience. And how do we build resilience? Uh, my generation, and there are people who are before my generation here as well, and there are people who are after my generation here. So there are different generations sitting right in here. We used to play in the sand, we used to play, we used to drink water from tap. This generation, people today, don't do that because they will fall sick. So that is, I think, something to do with resilience and how we build resilience. I gave a very simple example, but resilience is a very complex phenomena. So we will talk about adaptation, we'll talk about resilience, we'll talk about climate smart development, because development we all have been doing, and how we will make it climate smart. So all of this, I would not take more time. I have a very, very strong panel right beside me. So I'll take my seat and I will start this discussion for today. And I will move to Abha. I'll start with you first. And you have been a veteran, working with UNDP, working on disaster, working on the entire realm of environment and sustainability for a long time now. And I would like to start with you, trying to understand, while we see these vulnerabilities that I just spoke of. Now, as per you, what are the key aspects of climate vulnerability that have guided the design and implementation of development strategies in the state? So when you look at the state, and I know there is a new government that has taken over after a long, so there was a long period of governance, which was a certain type of governance, and now there is a change. But without going into the politics of the governance model, what are the strategies and how do you see the government evolving those strategies over a period of time that you have worked here?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, GSW and Think Tank, for inviting me here. Uh, when I look back to the journey of the state, I started from 1999 super cyclone, and that's where we realized that somewhere we are going to face the climate change brunt. And looking at the ferocity of the cyclone which had hit us that time, and our unpreparedness at that time. So keeping that in mind, the government of the day and has been taking a lot of good measures, not only in terms of the infrastructure which was built, which has been built starting from cyclone shelters to the roads and the hospital outreach. Now, one can always debate on what is the quality, how it is being maintained, and all those things are there. But those uh, resilient infrastructures was started to putting it in place. The second thing which was done and which was more important was the community based approach, where community was involved. And here I would also have to mention that, there was already an existing very good civil society network and a little bit of linkages with the corporate organization which came at that particular point of time to support the state government. And that partnership over the years has been strengthened. Now, it could be at certain points individual, could be collective, and it may have seen its up and down, but it exists. And that was a reflection when you see what happened in the cyclone Dana, which has recently helped. Now, the cyclone Nana also showcased that the state of Orissa has also been able to build a very good mechanism of early warning and early action. And that has also helped. So, then we come to the livelihoods. When we look at the livelihoods, there are a lot of work which is going on in the livelihood sector where, climate resilient agriculture practices are being introduced, or, diversification of the other farm and off farm activities is happening. There's a lot miles to go, but if you pick up any sector, you would see that there have been a lot of sustainable development practices which are being introduced. And the climate action plan of the state was the first in the country itself, and we are now at the second stage. Also reflects on the basic infrastructure, starting from the power sector, which is being thought of going into the underground. And that because Fanny, the Filene and the Dana, everywhere it is being showcased that that's a sector which needs improvement. So when I look at it holistically, uh, we have done, we have ensured a zero casualty. Life loss is literally not there in a way. We have lost 10,000 plus in 1999, and now we have not.
It's livestock, live and livestock.
Livestock, yes. This Dana has now showcased there is some earlier till Feni, it was literally livestock was not taken into account, but this time livestock has been taken into account. Uh, Even the infrastructure which is being built for the livestock, they are introducing an element of risk management and specifically how to design the infrastructure. But as we know that there is still long way to go, because it also means more investment, how much the community would invest, how much the government or the private sector would like to invest, and do we want, the economics always come into being. And so one area which is still a work in progress, and I think we have just taken baby steps, is the urban areas. In urban areas, we haven't really worked. The rural areas still have a better, sustainable development.
Right. Thank you, Abha, for this is a quick kind of an assessment of. Of course, there is a lot more. I just wanted to go to Swapna because I'm aware that when you talk about climate balanced or climate smart, FES was working and NTGCF started working in late 80s, looking at wasteland development and the model that tree growers cooperative can be formed, and that evolved into, ecological restoration initiatives. How do you, but recently when we read all the policies or strategies on climate change, one thing which we see is we talk about resilience, but do we really talk about resilience from a livelihood lens? There has always been this classic environmentalist versus, so how do you see that mindset changing over the period of time, Sapna?
Yeah. My job has been made little easy with Ajay being in the host panel because he is also a co-traveler in this whole process. But thanks to Atkya team for inviting us to this panel. Like Ava said, Odisha has also been a very favorite child of climate vagaries. But also let's realize Odisha also has been a very, very inspiring state when it comes to community action on resilience and building a very, very strong action point at the community level to deal with this kind of climate disasters that we have been facing. More than 32,000 villages in and around forest know how to conserve it. They have been involved in conserving and restoring the forest. The way, I think, way forward is to the model that needs to be established now is to ensure that they get the rights over these resources so that they manage it more efficiently. Then build the institution around or strengthen the institution which will require to govern these kind of resources. Because all said and done, we have realized across globe, the solution that we are suggesting to climate calamities is somewhere increasing the green cover, somewhere increasing and ensuring that the green cover remains. Who better than the ones who are living in and around it? So giving them the rights, strengthening their institution, helping them with some kind of a fiscal arrangement to restore these resources will definitely create an answer to the climate crisis that we are going to face. And this is precisely the model that we have been working. In around about 16 districts in Odisha, where we along with our 10, 20 odd partners, we're trying to see how communities living in and around forest, in their effort to conserve forest, also start looking at how do they build more resilience. Yeah, because we know we are a state where drought and heat waves and this is also much of a rather crisis rather than because only the coast is getting affected with cyclones, but the mainland Odisha is also facing the problem due to heat waves. I think if you see in the last couple of years, one news that has been capturing the attention of the national and international media is forest fire. In the last couple of years, Odisha has also been a state where enormous amount of forest fire is happening, and it is because of the dry spell and the increasing heat. So how do we really then prepare community to see all this coming, foresee all these issues which was not there say 10 years back, but now it is becoming an issue, and prepare them well and help them in taking action, on-field action to start looking at these issues. And the best part of my experience in the last 20-25 years is the adaptation part of the communities. The way the communities start adapting tools, technologies, informations, data has been phenomenal. Using mobile-based applications now, many rural communities across Odisha has been assessing how much of water they have, doing a crop water budgeting, looking at what is the amount of water they have and what kind of agriculture that they're taking up, and if there is a change in climate, if there is a less rainfall, what is the kind of choices they have to make, what kind of crop they have to take up. And this work along with the agriculture department that we are doing is really now creating result. More than 8,000 villages has prepared the crop water budget, and now the government is adopting it. We are going to take it to a whole state of Odisha where every village will know how much of water they have with a plus and minus of if there is a less rainfall, what is the amount of water they will have. With a more rainfall, what is the amount of rain they will have, water they will have as a surplus, and then prepare a plan to look at what kind of crop they will take up. So starting from rainwater harvesting to forest conservation to looking at also the forest beyond their own requirement. It's not just the people that they are concerned. They're also looking at wildlife, They're also looking at livestock. So all the living forms that they're taking care of. So these initiatives of the rural communities in Odisha, I think is going to become a example for the whole country and the world eventually, that if you have to deal with climate, with the previous government starting with the Mo Jangal Jami Yojana, where they were also giving the legal ownership of these resources to the local communities. I think that's the way forward. Give them the right, help them build and strengthen their institutions, make some fiscal arrangement with more MGNREGS or DMF or Campa fund to restore these resources. You have the perfect solution. I'll stop here.
Thank you, Sapna. I'm wow. And just a reminder that please note down your questions, and you can hand it over to someone so the questions can reach me here, just in case we don't get time for question answer session at the end. So, Dr. Swar, I'll you have been working on R&D, innovation, and innovation. So one thing that we see, and there is one category which is emerging businesses. Now, the whole idea of emerging businesses are problems through a different lens than perhaps what the traditional uh, business would look at, and they are able to bring up with innovative ideas. And many of these innovative ideas or innovative businesses are actually tackling the issue of climate change or reducing carbon footprint, through a very direct approach. The problem is, how do they scale up? So in your experience of looking into or working with these kind of organizations, if you can talk about a few who you think are doing certain things, but then addressing the core issue of how we can make these ideas, innovations scale up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I will tell you, the different communities here. That's what I was talking to Abaji, who are in the audience. So I realized there are many group who has an advocacy group. There is a community coming from NGO foundation group, and also the change makers in the climate sector. So I come from ecosystem which promotes innovations-led startup companies. And always people say technology are expensive. I think this is not true. We work in a mandate that it has to be adaptable, and scalable. And we have various examples, hundred of examples. I'll give you a couple of them which are linked to climate sector. So one is technology business incubator. As we are discussing today, Madam talks about problem statement. So we always pick up problem statement and try to build a cohort of people with young minds, wise mind, and try to build solutions out of it. And there's a group, there's a process to take them to build enterprise. And that's what Ajayji said. How do you see them scalable? So I'll give a couple of examples there. And then we also talk to corporates, talk to different stakeholders to do piloting validations. So few of examples I'll give you. Number one, which we have been talking. So I like this kind of conversation, but at the end, I always believe in action plans. So I'll give you all those actions which we have done, which is bringing impact. Number one, which is a very primitive stage, but it's going to very, very game changer. You all seen Chilika Lake, brackish water Chilika Lake. Everybody talks about the same hotel. I've attended meetings since last 14 years probably to talk about it. Everybody talks about it. Now there's a weed species called phragmites, we call nulburn. And nulburn is now expanding in various places because of, again, you can say pollutions, organic load, discharge, everything happening there. Now, how do you bring a solutions there? So there's people talking about it. There's a group advocacy, and then I'll not get into those things. Now, then we started building a consortium, and then you'll be very happy to know that we believe in collaborations, cooperation, and convergence. With that, today I'm here. I was so excited when Prasanji told me that this is a community is coming forward to look at technology could be a provider, would be one of the solutions. So just imagine there is a group which is built now, converting phragmites into paper, into particle boards, and zero waste. And this technology is close to a green technology. So now they're still working on it. There's a commercial venture into it. So first time, Government of India is get some funding to set up a first plant next to the Chilika Lake to convert these weeds into, but there are a lot of regulatory compliance, so you have to go to many people from Pollution Control Board to end. That's what we do. Now, so if you just imagine if that happens next to Chilika Lake, there will be 500 fishermen will be engaged there. Those will go to the lake, cut those things, not uproot, because again, people talk about it, cut it. We call it a sustainable harvesting. It is growing, people are cutting it, burning it. You can understand what problem happening. Now we are telling them, you don't cut it and burn it, cut it, bring it to us. We'll build exciting products out of it. And again, this will grow. So what I'm trying to tell you that the community like us, we think in a different way to build action plans which are much more acceptable, adaptable by not only the community, but also the people like you and us. That's the whole idea. Second, as he mentioned about that we promote a lot of startup companies, and thanks to Prasant Ji, because we worked together for a lot of years. We are very different kind of mindset. So give an example called Nexus Power. Say to maybe very early stage, again they were raising money. Just imagine a company from Odisha who says, we'll take off the agri waste and make organic batteries out of it. You make batteries, when the battery gets discharged or is gone wrong, you open the whole content and throw everything to the soil, it's a fertilizer. Now just imagine two girls thinking a different level where it says crop residues to make batteries. These are going to contribute to what we're discussing today. The second example, all of you know we produce a lot of rice and also produce rice husk, rice stubble, and people are burning those stubble. That's the problem in wheat one in Haryana and Delhi, Punjab side. Now, we brought one company called Pro Biochem, a process engineer who says, we discussed, it took a lot of time, funded them, trying to build, now the next pilot is happening, that out of rice stubble and the husk, he's making 3 different products, zero waste. And these are green technology, microcrystalline cellulose, other kind of fertilizers. So you don't burn it. You don't use it just to burn, cook, things. You can also convert them into interesting thing without putting much into carbon footprint. These all contributes to your climate problem statements. So what I'm trying to tell you, these are different things we have been doing. And now what we have just said, how we can position ourselves in Odisha, something great. So as I said, we are always in action. The next 23rd, 24th, you'll be seeing one of the biggest platform we are creating called Blue Economy Hub. How Odisha can be positioned in terms of blue economy, 480 kilometers of coastline, everybody talks about it, but then how can you use it to build the blue economy, which is now coming up. So in 23rd, 24th of January, we are creating a Mission 50 Blue Economy startup, all into blue economy sector. So it has to be a strategy, it has to be collaborations, it has to be, that's what we do. We bring people, we try to help them to create solutions. You'll realize after 3 to 4 years, at least 5,000 coastal community will be engaged with this blue economy concept. We are bringing 11 countries, World Bank, UN, for a purpose, not for a meeting. That's very honest. I am very blunt in those things. Because every hour is important for us. We have been running so slow, we cannot further effort to run again slow. So you have to believe in actions. I'm very happy all of you have come here, not to listen, just to think differently, so that we can come together and build a convergence model. So nutshell, bring us problem statements. We don't need any money from you. We might bring solutions for you. The last thing is a big company, I'll not name them. They produce 90 million ton of fly ash. They came to us, can you bring a solution for us, not to make fly ash bricks. It's not environment friendly. Imagine it is throwing a lot of things. Can you bring some other technology to manage the soul line? So you're bringing a technology from somewhere, I'll not disclose everything, but to create a, self-healing concrete technology for the soil line management. 70% cement will be replaced with fly ash with a new technology. So what I'm trying to tell you, technology is not expensive. That's what we make it expensive. So I am offering here to all the community here, every one of you, bring problem statements, we might bring solutions which are affordable, adaptable, and scalable. With this note, I thank JSW